All right. We are back in the building, and today I got a special friend. He's somewhere in the mystical area, island of Hong Kong, I think. I keep mixing between Hong Kong and Indonesia.
Next to the racetrack.
All right, nicely done, sir. But anyways, today we're going to talk about crypto, blockchain, but also we're going to talk about gold, metals, anyways, Mark Brady is a good friend of Jonathan Chi, our illustrious leader here at the XT.com head office here in downtown Dubai. So Mark Brady is working on some pretty interesting stuff. But before we dive into this really interesting stuff, I would want Mark Brady to kind of give us an origin story on how he came from traditional finance into this crazy world of crypto and blockchain. And I just want to know why. I mean, like, you could have, enjoyed a nice, relaxing life in traditional finance, do traditional finance things, but you want to hang out with all these crazy people in crypto Twitter and and all kinds of stuff. But anyways, the good thing is I'm glad to know that you love technology. So that's an amazing thing. So anyways, Mark Brady, welcome to the XTcast, the official podcast of XT.com. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Well, it's wonderful to be here. It's nice to connect with more folks in Dubai, which seems to be really on a parabolic tear in terms of just growth and development, and I mean just across the board. So it's nice to connect there. And yeah, it's great. It's great to be here and chat a little bit about why I transitioned from traditional finance to digital. I like to say digital assets just because it's a little broader, but to digital assets, which is something that I'm always interested in because, so I'll start with my origin story and then I'll talk a little bit about
yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Why I like to hear why people transition. I started out my career in IT, building trading systems and algorithmic trading strategies. I was hired by one of my biggest clients in Tokyo. I was in Tokyo. I went to Japan after I graduated from college. I'm a bit of a Japanophile. I spent 15 years there. I ended up getting hired to become a buy-side trader and also, help them with their electronic trading strategies, et cetera, et cetera. And I've always been interested in technology. Fast forward to 2015, I was in Hong Kong working for another large asset management company, and I started getting interested in this thing called Bitcoin, particularly because there were some folks in the U.S. that were trying to build a Bitcoin ETF. I had been working in the ETF business of this large asset manager, and I thought, well, hold on a second. I just built some fixed income ETFs in Singapore. How much harder would it be to build Bitcoin? And it was sort of became one of my, weekend projects, and I started looking into it. And, it's one of those things where a lot of people will say, once you start down the rabbit hole, it never ends. At that time, there wasn't nearly as much information that there is now. I mean, I think you could probably read news about cryptocurrencies 24/7 easily and not come across the same article twice. But so I started to shop this idea around to some of the trading counterparties I had and just some folks that I thought might, be aware of Bitcoin. And I talked to more than 20 people, and only one knew anything about Bitcoin. And he said to me, he's like, can you come back? I met him on a Monday. And he's like, can you have a pitch ready for Thursday to pitch? We're starting a new hedge fund that's focused on cryptocurrencies. Can you come and give us a pitch to set up our funds? He's like, not sure about an ETF, but come and talk to us. And so I went and talked to the board with them, and they liked what they heard, and I started working there the following Monday. And I was full in cryptocurrencies at that point, and haven't looked back. Not, traditional finance has kind of lost a lot of its luster for me. I like constant stimulation, new stuff, and I don't think there's any job or industry that has more than digital assets, cryptocurrencies, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Hey, first of all, thank you for sharing that origin story. I love actually asking that question because everyone has a different take how they learn about Bitcoin, and I was I wanted to ask you I asked a similar question to many of my guests. The first time when you heard about Bitcoin or you read about it, what was your initial reaction to it? Was it something just another paper?
Yeah.
Or?
No, I was just starting my career when the .com boom was happening. So, there's a certain amount of bias in me towards, sort of things that sound like sheer nonsense. But I also approach things from a programmer's point of view, as someone who's built stuff in the past. And, I initially thought, holy cow, this from a programming standpoint, it's really interesting and new. And I thought, distributed ledger technology, that I need to look into this. This is not something that I've seen before. And coincidentally, when I started working in the technology at this large securities firm in Tokyo, the first week I was there, when they were trying to upgrade the systems, the head of IT was trying to update the test system, and he unfortunately dropped all the tables on the database of the production system while everyone was trading on the trading floor, and all the systems conked out all at once in the middle of the day. And I thought, because it was all centralized, right? And I thought, well, how could you avoid this? And so it was sort of a congruence of different factors. I was like, I need to look into this distributed ledger technology, because this wouldn't have been possible. You wouldn't, if one person, deleted his node on a blockchain, that's okay, because there's others there to pick up the slack and so forth. So it was kind of an interesting time for me from that standpoint.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you got out of the traditional financial space, and now you're on the wild space of crypto and blockchain. So
yep.
I would love for us to kind of I guess dive into what you're working on actually. So
sure. Yeah, I'd love to share.
Please do.
I was I took some time off last year, and I was looking for I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back into crypto full time or maybe do some volunteer work or whatever. And I was looking around for some projects, and I really wanted to find something that had some kind of altruistic part to it, and not necessarily, an ESG project per se, or some, those labels are really misunderstood and misapplied in a lot of cases. But I was catching up with a friend of mine who had left Hong Kong. He was the CTO of a major cryptocurrency exchange, and I'd known him for years and years, and we were just doing a Zoom catch up, as you do, and he was like, "Hey, you should talk to my friend, who's the chief growth officer for this firm called Nature's Vault. I think he's got it looks pretty interesting." Little did I know that he'd already agreed to become the CTO of the firm, but he didn't disclose that at the time.
Interesting.
Little sneaky.
Wow.
Little sneaky.
Yeah. Smart guy. I like
Yeah.
that guy already. I like him already.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. So I had a chat and met the management team, and they walked me through the value proposition. I thought, hold on a second, this is really interesting. It's first of all, it's a real world asset. It's mining rights. You can, I guess, touch them. They exist. There's some land somewhere, and the whole point is you can quantify the gold that's in the ground, but we all agree that mining it is a bad idea from an environmental perspective, so why not protect the gold in the ground, tokenize it, and sell it to like-minded investors? And that's what we've done. We had our first mine acquisition earlier this year in April, and we're about to close on our second one. And basically, with each mine acquisition, the amount of gold that's linked to our legacy token, which is the name of the token, goes up, and so the value of the token in terms of how much gold is linked to it also should go up. And we're not saying it will reach parity with the spot price of gold, but as we acquire more mining rights and add them into the pile, so to speak, the value of the token should increase.
Interesting. Now, I just want to take a step back. I mean, just for my XT.com audience,
Sorry, I may have gone a little bit too far.
No, it's good. No, it's good. And I know it's good that you already explained about the mining rights and stuff, but in a simplified version, how is gold traditionally mined?
So gold is traditionally mined in that 90% of the gold in the world has already been mined. So you can kind of take from that the fact that the gold that's left is probably not in the easiest places to get to.
Interesting.
So a lot of stuff needs to happen for you to get machines and stuff to these places. And so what mining companies do is there's two geological survey standards, one in Canada called NI 43101 and one in Australia called a JORC report. And what these are is they're basically legally binding geological surveys that are done by people that would be criminally liable if they lie or falsify these reports. And it's basically they take hundreds of core samples, they have ways to scan, and they come up with a report on a mining site, how much gold and other minerals are in the ground. And these reports are, if you like science and like stuff like that, they're very interesting. Way above my head in terms of the geological terminology and some of the minerals that are in there. And you're like, wow, there's a lot more stuff in there than just gold. But within the last 10 years, these surveys have become extremely accurate. And if you're a Newmont Mining, which is a big U.S. mining company, these decisions to develop a certain area, they're $1 billion decisions. So you're not just gonna make those decisions based on, well, my gut tells me that there might be some gold in the hills. You want them to be based on science and quantified in the strongest way possible. So that's what the mining company would do, and they would estimate the amount of gold in the ground, and obviously, they can scan fairly deep into the earth, and realistically, even if you see a large vein of gold that's, I don't know, deep down in the earth, you're not going to be able to get that out. So what they generally will do is, let's say, okay, we think there's 1 million grams of gold in the ground based on this survey, but only 80% of it is mineable, or only 70% is mineable. So they'll put a haircut on it. But they make $1 billion decisions on these reports. So that's what we're doing. We've for the first mining rights, it's called Pistol Lake. We estimated there's 125,000 ounces in the ground, and we're putting a 20% haircut on that. And then that's the gold that's initially linked to the legacy token, and what we're selling to folks out there that share the same ideals that we do of it's not a good thing to mine gold anymore.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah,
we don't need to. It's not a good thing. We don't need to. I don't want to throw miners under the bus because they still a very necessary. We wouldn't have smartphones if there weren't people out there pulling the minerals out of the ground.
No, sure. Yeah. Because before I got into crypto and blockchain, I was into gold and mostly silver actually. I tried to buy as many American Eagles.
Oh, so you're actually buying the coins and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah. I still have some. Yeah. I know. Some other people think it's a dumb idea, but I think for me, the reason why I personally, I'll just share from my side, why I like gold and silver is it's his history as money. When I look at 5,000 years of history of money, from seashells to the tally sticks in the UK and paper money and gold and
rice,
even rice too, or salt, from the Roman Empire. So I know I thought it was really interesting to learn about gold and how it connects, how different cultures like India, Babylonia, you got Mesopotamia, you got even the Native Americans, Europe and South America. There's this connection, we all recognize it, and even Bitcoin too, right?
Yeah,
even Bitcoin too. When you present Bitcoin, you show it on a gold coin. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So even I like silver too. I think there's a saying, gold is for kings, silver is for gentlemen, and debt is for slaves. I'm not sure, maybe somewhere around that area, but I know I always thought it was kind of fascinating to see how important gold and gold and metals is, plays in all areas. So, but I was just kind of curious to ask you about, in terms of the big mining companies, who would be the biggest mining producers in the world? Are you familiar with the names?
I haven't looked at the mining industry in a while, but the standard names are Newmont Mining, Barrick Gold, in Australia, BHP Billiton. There's billion-dollar companies. Just going back to your comment about the different items that have been used as currency over the years. There's a really amazing book that's written by an Oxford professor called Before Babylon, Beyond Bitcoin, From Money That We Understand to Money That Understands Us. It's written by David Birch. You'll love this book. Highly recommend it to anyone that wants to, you'd think the history of money would be super boring. This guy's really funny.
Okay.
And he goes through from seashells all the way to, people forging, because cocoa was a currency in South America. And
interesting.
They would put it in shells and then use that as currency. And people would put mud in put half mud and then half cocoa and try and pass it off as the full amount of cocoa. So people have been forging currencies since time. And they talk about it in this book. It's a really, really good.
Oh, good wow. Definitely we'll share the links below. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I'll share it with you.
Yeah. How I learned about gold and silver was never in my university time, really. It was kind of my own expedition, trying to figure out how money is created. So when I learned about the U.S. Federal Reserve, how it was created, then I got a really good education from this gentleman by the name of Mike Maloney from goldsilver.com. So he had a
Okay.
10-part series. So I thought that was really
Nice.
interesting, just talking about fungibility, talking about history. And I know it was really fascinating. I never saw gold and silver in that context and the history behind it. So, but definitely love to learn more.
Yeah.
I think even many of the people who are the OGs in crypto, many of them are big into gold and silver too. They have love and respect. I
Yep.
mean, of course, they do attack Peter Schiff once in a while, but
Well, some Bitcoin maximalists are not big fans of gold
yeah,
because they see Bitcoin as gold 2.0. One other thing, you talk about when you became aware of gold. For me, it was watching the James Bond movie Goldfinger. And
didn't expect
if
that.
you haven't seen the movie, Goldfinger, the enemy, tries to set off a nuclear bomb at Fort Knox to basically make all the gold there unusable, and then rendering his supply of gold. He'd been hoarding gold, etc. This is before the U.S. went off the gold standard. This movie was made before 1971 when the U.S. went off the gold standard. And I watched the movie and I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Well, he just wants to bomb gold. And then my dad explained it to me. I was like, well, hold on a second. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Do this. But let's not start talking about James Bond because that'll be a whole nother 2-hour.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I have way too much information in my head about James Bond movies, so let's keep on talking here. Sorry.
Absolutely. No. This is good though. This is good because I just love the conversations about when I talk to my friends who are like gold bugs. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. I talk to my crypto friends. Not your keys, not your crypto. It's kind of funny how there's this mirror parallel, so to speak. So
and that's one of the things that we've been as I talk to investors and my friends and family about the Nature's Vault legacy token, people struggle to understand, like, the gold is in the ground, it's verifiable, but we're not going to mine it. But we still, by putting the rights in a trust, that means no one can access it. But we know it's there. Some people are still, but it's not in my hands. It's not in my, I can't log into my Fidelity statement and see it, in my portfolio. So we're hoping to change some minds and that there's other ways to invest. I mean, we're another term we use a lot is green gold. This is essentially green gold, in that it's not mined. We know it's in the ground, and we want to prevent it from being mined and prevent the destruction of the environment and the generation of carbon, dioxide, etc. So that's kind of our mission.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you shared earlier about you guys. But basically, there's a legally acceptable testing
it's
of the
a
gold,
geological survey, the NI 43101,
Okay,
which
so
we've
I
done
guess it's
Earth.
globally recognized, I guess, right?
Yeah, so there's two. It's the Canadian one and the Australian one. I mean, when you think of the top two mining countries, it's Canada and Australia. And in terms of countries with proper rule of law. And there are serious repercussions if you lie or falsify these reports. You could go to jail. Basically, it's very similar. The parallel I often draw is it's like having a securities license from a regulator. In Hong Kong here, type 1, dealing in securities, there's consequences if you break the rules. Same for the people that write these reports.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, that's good. That's good to know because I think I never thought of because I'm somewhere from the mindset of you got to mine gold and go through this process. All that
Have you
stuff,
seen any of the shows on Discovery Channel or National Geographic where there's 5 guys with some trucks and stuff, and like I've been traveling for the last couple of weeks, and I happened to watch one of these shows, and it's like, holy cow, it's five guys with a few earth movers, some diggers, and some dump trucks, and they completely destroyed a riverbed in like a month. And that's just five guys. Crazy.
Yeah. And I'm assuming like the amount of gold or gold dust they have able to accumulate is just so small. Like
it's like it was like $1 million worth for a month's work, and they moved thousands of tons of earth and just killed this riverbed. I mean, right now it's called pit mining, and if you look at pictures of pit mines, it looks like a nuclear bomb went off, because it sort of goes down like that, and and it's just not necessary anymore. Is one of our messages.
Okay, interesting. Sure. Yeah, you covered like the geological survey and some of the mining processes and stuff. Now, could you share with the audience now how you guys are using blockchain to protect nature? Create and I guess an economic incentive for investors, to people to. So elaborate on that. Yeah, please.
Sure, I'd love to. This is a case where there's a lot of blockchain solutions looking for a problem. This is an actual problem that blockchain is uniquely suited to tackle. One other thing, you look at there's tons of different financial structures that you can use to basically, they're all containers. You're taking an asset and putting it in a container and standardizing it so other people can invest in it. And in the case of the legacy token, we really wanted to be able to offer it to as wide an audience as possible. So, if we wanted to list it as an ETF, let's say in Hong Kong here, well, basically only people that can invest in Hong Kong would be able to buy the token, which kind of defeats the purpose of the whole message of offering something to a global audience. So, the blockchain was a very, readily apparent solution. We sell ourselves as an ESG finance platform, and we are, but as you're aware, and I'm sure many people listening are aware, that some of the proof of work tokens or currencies out there generate a lot of power and are very wasteful. Everyone quotes the Bitcoin network consumes more power than Japan or Ecuador, or what they always throw out, a country, and it's a lot. I mean, I used to mine Ethereum in my house here, and first of all, the room was like 40 degrees, and I was using an old laptop, and the old laptop, actually the battery exploded and it started on fire, and thankfully I was in the room at the time, so I was able to put it out. It consumes a lot of power. So one of our concerns in choosing, our protocol was, well, it's got to be proof of stake or something that's energy efficient. So we chose ERC20 with the view that the merge is coming. And knock on wood, I just knocked on my desk here. It looks like it's going to happen, which will be great. And then on top of that, we wanted to keep transaction costs. Again, there's a big part of, one of the appeals for cryptocurrency or digital assets for me is the democratization of finance. And, I'm sure folks know that gas prices on the Ethereum network are very expensive. They've not gone down even with the bear market. I was trying to buy Ethereum domain name the other day. It cost $50. The gas was $190.
I know, right?
To buy my Mark Brady .eth domain.
Man. All right.
So I didn't buy it because it made me mad.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, we started working with the Polygon guys, who we've partnered with. It's a wonderful team, amazing group of folks, and we're on the Polygon network.
Okay.
Because we just everything that those guys do is just quality, and I don't get paid to say this. We just really, really enjoy working with them, and they've got a great product. The teams are great. So we're on Polygon, and we've minted our tokens, but they're sitting in different Gnosis wallets depending on what allocation that they're going towards, be it treasury or pre-sale or what have you. So we're getting ready. Our target is to list in November this year.
All right.
So for the next couple of months, the team is going to be hitting the conference circuit. So
all right.
There's tons in Dubai. There's tons in Singapore, Vietnam.
Yeah, right. Would you be speaking in Dubai? Hopefully, I'm hoping.
I will hopefully be going there. But
that'll be there.
Jonathan's offered to introduce me to some folks and stuff, and I probably know 20 people that have moved to Dubai from Hong Kong. I was talking to one of them last night. He runs a fund there. We're excited about Token 2049 in Singapore, which is September 28 and 29, and then in the beginning of October in Dubai, there's two conferences that are back to back, and I forgot the names. So I'm not looking that smart right now, but we're likely to be there for those. I've never been to Dubai. I'm really, from what I've been hearing the last couple of months, it just seems like if you're in digital assets, you need to get there. I'm hoping we get over there.
Yeah, just FYI too, like the two events I believe you're talking about, there is the Future Blockchain Summit. There's also the Future Innovation Summit by, I think, the Sharjah Sheikh's office. There are actually some more events are coming up. And also another thing too, most of the guys from the Polygon team, they are in Dubai too. So definitely you'll see them.
They're great, and they've helped us with exchange intros, etc. So we're in the process now of sort of doing the bake off amongst exchanges to try and figure out where we want to list, and it's a fun and interesting process as well. So a lot going on for us, but our ecosystem is, as the CTO, the guy that introduced me into the firm has done a wonderful job building us out, getting us secure. You see news like today, which the Phantom wallets, I don't know if you saw Solana, there was a hack of the Phantom wallet. Which caused me to scramble like a madman because I have some Solana and a Phantom, not a lot, because I was looking to mint some NFTs just to see what the process was and how onerous it was compared to Ethereum, and so you see news like that and you go, that cannot happen to us at all. We're really focused on security and locking it down and all that kind of good stuff. So it's been a good couple of months just getting the ecosystem ready for prime time, ready for going public.
Awesome, and this is really exciting stuff to see you guys, progress, trying to get all the stuff together, like with all the legal stuff and the tech, and also, other relevant stuff. You got to put all things together. I think that does trying to get everything aligned. I know it's not that easy, but hey, congratulations to you guys.
Thank you. The main push, and I come from institutional finance, so I'm not super big on it's more relationship based. Marketing and advertising is not a thing, but one of the things that has really opened my eyes is this whole concept of community building in the context of launching a project or a token or whatever. And we've got an amazing marketing team, and in the space of 2 months, our Twitter has gone to 26,000 users. And I tell this to people that I know that have launched projects and stuff, and they don't believe me. They think I'm lying.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had we've been focusing on Telegram and Twitter. We've got 5 different languages in Telegram, a lot of Twitter users. And we've got Discord, which we're going to slowly start to build. The issue here is there's so many different platforms and so forth that if you try to focus on all of them, you'll do none of them
Right.
well. So our focus has been Twitter and Telegram, and then we'll building our communities there, and then organically sort of moving to Discord and so forth. I'm a big one of my hobbies is PC gaming, so I've always been a Discord user for a long time.
Nice. Like that.
Another topic that should be the.
I like that answer. I like that answer, man. Yeah.
Podcast, but yeah, I've been lurking in our Discord server quite a bit and responding to people and so forth, just because I'm already there for some of the games that I play, and it's a joy, not work for me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. Because I have come across many projects. They're definitely right. Community does matter, especially in entering into this Web3 space. So it's a whole different culture compared to what we are used to, like in Web2 or the traditional financial space. So I know. I guess personally for me, I don't know about you, I felt like it is a sort of like a learning curve and also like a mind shift in how we view things. So I could kind of relate to, when you share Nature Vault, like, hey, we're not mining it. It's going to be on the ground, but we have the technology to track things and also have everything legally protected and stuff. So I know it's going to take a while for other people to understand that, but it's a paradigm shift, right? So
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I did before I joined. I did a fair bit of due diligence, just seeing are there other projects that are doing this, and to our knowledge, there isn't. I mean, there's obviously many projects that tokenize actual gold or silver, but there's none that seek to not mine them, but still quantify them in some way and allow people to invest in them. So, in that respect, we're unique.
Yeah. No, that's cool. No, thank you for sharing that. Actually, I wanted to ask you with regards to, you mentioned Pistol Lake, right? That's the one in Canada?
It's our first mining acquisition in Canada. Yep.
Okay. And what's the second one you guys planning to?
It's codenamed North Star. We have some limitations about what we can disclose about that, but that's our second acquisition, and the NI 43101 report is due to be complete any day. Estimated 500,000 to 800,000 ounces of gold. I don't want to go out and say anything until the numbers are in, because I don't want to look stupid. Because this is going to be on the internet forever. So
fair enough. No, I was just curious because
but it's a significantly larger. So our target is 1 million ounces for the first legacy token, and if we fill 1 million, we might launch a second token. We've been looking at potentially. So we have a legal opinion from a respected legal firm in a law firm in Singapore that this is a utility token, because you're basically paying to not do something, which is mine the gold. You're paying for the preservation of the gold in the ground, so therefore it's not a security. And they looked at the securities laws and commodities laws and so forth, and because you actually don't take possession of the gold, that worked into our favor, particularly with the commodities laws, because it's not a commodity if you don't actually have possession of it. So to speak.
Thank you for saying that. Because not many people realize how important getting a legal opinion is, and
it's the most important.
Yeah,
You know, when I started building the hedge fund here in Hong Kong, so we built the first Type 9 uplift for digital asset licensed hedge fund. There was very few law firms. This is 2017 that would write an opinion about what Bitcoin was or what Ethereum was, and so it was really refreshing for me to see that the Nature's Vault team before I joined had already gone to Allen and Gledhill's, is a very respected firm and a very well respected firm in Singapore, and they had gone through the laws, and I've read the opinion multiple times, and they've said unequivocally this is a utility token, and this is why.
Yeah.
So yeah, lawyers are expensive.
Yeah.
but you know, you don't want to be on the other side of it when a regulator decides, well, hold on a second, you are a security buddy. And now we're going to, here's your fine. You can pay us anytime you like. You don't want to be in that situation. So I always err on the side of being conservative with regulators, and you know, want to have a dialogue with them and make sure they understand what you're doing, et cetera. So you know,
interesting.
It's important.
Yeah, true, agreed. Yeah. But other than gold, do you guys have some sort of like a roadmap? Like you guys will try to tokenize some other metals, like say silver, titanium, maybe
entirely possible.
Timber.
Yeah, I mean, you know, right now we're really focused on the legacy token. You know, getting it into you know, folks' hands. And we do have other projects that involve you know, environmental you know, impact investing, basically investing in and building projects that will help benefit the environment. I'm not going to go down that path today, just because I think it will confuse the topic a little bit, because the other projects we have are very different from the legacy token.
Yeah,
they are one is a carbon capture project, which I am a huge fan of, but you know, in my conversations with investors and other people, when I start to talk about that, people get confused. It's like, well, are you guys gold mining? Are you this or that? So, but we have other projects in the pipeline that we're actively working on, which, you know, are also very, very impactful, and I'm very excited about. I just don't want to get too off topic here today. We're talking about the legacy token. Let's,
sure.
But yeah,
no, for sure, absolutely.
ESG platform. So we're gonna work on stuff. You know, I've looked at, you know, I'm sure, you know, you can guess that I've looked at silver, or you know, I've toyed with the idea of trying to build an ETF with this. How I would get a third party to be you know, to value a valuation agent to value this. I've had some interesting conversations. You know, I still have a ton of friends that work at rating agencies and you know, ETF issuers and stuff, and we've had some fun conversations around it. But yeah, it's a ways off. We're fully you know, going down the token route because it makes total sense. And you know, November 21st or thereabouts is when this thing is gonna be public, and we're really excited about it.
Absolutely, yeah, man. No, thanks for sharing that. I love that. So, but we're running out of time. But before you go, would love for you to share some insights or some future trends in ESG. And before you go into the ESG, talk about some future trends over ESG, just for my XC.com folks, and also for myself, because I'm not that smart. What is ESG?
ESG, you put me on the spot, thankfully, and I'm not trying to sound smart, but The Economist, last week's issue, it has an ESG special report, which I would urge everyone to read, because it's very easy to read. You know, they're the best writers in the world there, and it really goes through the issues. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Basically, it's a factor based investing way, so that companies can be evaluated on each of these different dimensions. So, you look at someone like Tesla, where they're creating electric cars which are beneficial to the environment. However, their governance may not be so good because of their CEO, right? I'm not, again, let's not go there. But, so one of the things in the economists that they argue that these three letters need to be decoupled and evaluated differently. But essentially, it's a way of ratings agencies to do, when you invest in stocks or you're thinking about buying a certain company, you will do stock screening, and you'll say, okay, I want people that have a PE higher than this or pay a dividend more than this. ESG brings to it, okay, I want people that, are not polluting the environment. They have an inclusive hiring policy, or, their governance, they respect shareholders, or, et cetera. There's very, very basic examples.
Gotcha. Sure.
We're obviously very focused on the E, but we actually go one step further and say we're actually, doing impact investing. Impact investing is essentially, we're investing our money into projects that we think will have an impact and a positive impact on the environment and preserve the environment.
Nice.
So, it's markedly different from someone who's investing from an ESG perspective, because they're not investing with an end result in mind. They're investing with, okay, I don't want to invest in a tobacco company because I think that's bad, or I don't want to invest in an oil company because they pollute the environment. So that the result is, by not investing in them, yes, that might cause some impact down the road, but with impact investing, you're actually directly, speaking with your wallet, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so the trends, I think, there's, if you look again, read the Economist article, the special report. It's really, really good. One of the things that is very evident to anyone that is in the space is that it's the wild, wild west in terms of standards and practices, and the major ratings agencies will generally be very much eye to eye on how they evaluate companies. But when you start to go into more niche plays, niche firms, it starts to vary wildly. So, standardization, and also, for me, I think it's kind of silly to be looking at a company's environmental track record and then coupling that to their governance. It's very, very different. And I think it really kind of muddies, it takes away from both. So, I'd like to see decoupling and, companies evaluated, on their environmental impact standalone. Also, one of the main ways that companies are, carbon credits, in terms of, there's in Europe, it's somewhat standardized. But I think you'll see a lot of stuff happening in that space as well in the next year around standardization, being able to trade. Right now, I think the main venue to trade carbon credits is the ICE futures market in Europe. There is some tokenization going on. I know there's a carbon exchange in Abu Dhabi that had recently just relocated from Singapore. But again, it's so early in the space, and I think you'll start seeing more projects. Hopefully we don't get into this VHS versus Betamax war where there's differing standards and
competition's good, Mark. Come on.
I don't know. I like standards. Personally, but yeah. So I think you'll see more development of the carbon credit markets. There's a few plays that are tokenizing it right now. I mentioned I didn't really want to go into some of our other projects. They're all there. The main one is a carbon credit project, and we're now looking at what we're gonna, how we're gonna best manifest those benefits to investors in the avoided the carbon that's we're not generating. So yeah, I think those are the main trends. It's just more, governments are going to step in. We saw the SEC fined I forgot who it was in the States, but in Germany, Deutsche Bank, their asset management arm got a big slap on the wrist. So we're going to see more regulators not allowing firms to do what we call greenwashing, which is good, right? You want transparency and honesty and all things related to this, and hopefully we'll see more of that.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing the what we can expect in the future with regards to ESG. I mean, because it's been coming in the news circuit for some time, so I think slowly more people will be aware of it, and obviously that's like an upward trend. So
it's been a buzzword, I think, a lot. You see a lot of large firms wanting to get that into their yearly letter to shareholders, and it's no secret that an asset manager can charge more for a fund if they slap an ESG label on it. So in an environment of declining fees, it's been a boon for a lot of asset managers, and I just hope that we're able to get to a common ground around what it actually means in terms of what impact is it having, and not just a better bottom line for the fund managers that are putting the funds out.
Right, yeah. Hey, Mark Brady, thank you so much for sharing what Nature's Vault is all about and some of the future plans you guys
My pleasure.
Are going on. I'm also excited to see you come to Dubai too. So
hopefully we'll get there. I really want to go. I've got lots of folks telling me I got to get there. I kind of want to see the indoors. I'm from Minnesota and in the U.S., which is
interesting.
A lot of snow, so I'm obviously very interested in the indoor ski slope.
All right.
But I digress. Yeah, so it was great to chat with you today. Apologies for going off topic a little bit.
But no. This is a fireside chat. I mean,
of just having a chat, and I really appreciated the time today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. But anyways, don't hit the leave button. But anyways, fam, XC.com. We gotta go. We got amazing things to do, and definitely in the future, we'll try to have. I plan to have a panel discussion about gold and crypto, and hopefully, if Mark Brady has some time, I'll try to bring in some amazing guests. And hey, let's talk about crypto and blockchain and how it's going to revolutionize the internet, information, and money. So, y'all be good. Y'all be safe.